Hello, Assalamualaikum. Greetings to Dr. Ibrahim Muhammad Sulaiman. We are from Group 8. The chosen topic is the application of statistics in transportation services. My name is Siti Hadisa binti Rizal. My metric number is 288332.
My name is Nur Alisa Masar binti Zulkifli and my metric number is 289774.
Hello sir, my name is Aina Shazuna binti Muhammad Saad. My metric number is 28641.
Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Fizil Ahmad. My number is 28651.
My name is Azman Khan bin Azim Khan. My number is 289255.
Our group title is Transportation Services among undergraduate students of University Utara Malaysia.
My name is Aina Shazuna binti Muhammad Saad. I will explain about problem identification in this group assignment. First, strict condition of bringing a vehicles to university. Second, not all students have their own vehicles. And last, lack of bus and inflexible schedules. Okay, first, strict condition of bringing vehicle to university. First, post a driving license issued by the government of Malaysia only. Second, for international students, have a valid international driving license for at least a valid period of 6 months or more after registration. Third, the vehicle's grant must be in the name of the applicant. A copy of the grant must be submitted when the application is made. Fourth, if the grant is not the name of the applicant, a sworn affidavit certified by the commissioner for court once only and limited to the immediately family only. And last, the vehicle must have valid road tax and insurance, including comprehensive insurance. The name appears in the document as a rider and has passenger insurance. And second, not all students have their own vehicles. This is mean not all students have their own vehicle to go to class or go about their daily life at the university. So they must go there by bus. And last, lack of bus and inflexible schedules. Identify non-compliance with the bus operating schedule.
Next is the population of the study. In statistics, a population is a representative sample of largest group of people or even teens with one or more characteristics in common. In this research, the population is undergraduate student in University Utara Malaysia.
Sample meaning is a sample refers to a smaller, manageable version of a larger group. It is a subset containing the characteristics of a larger population. Samples are used in statistical testing when population size are too large for the test to include all possible members or observation. In this research, the sampling unit of study is 30 undergraduate UUM students in Asis Bank Rakyat, Proton and Kachi.
There are two types of variables, which is qualitative variables and quantitative variables. Qualitative variables can be further categorized into nominal or ordinal. Nominal variables are variables that have two or more categories but do not have an intrinsic order, while ordinal variables have an intrinsic order. Quantitative variables can be further categorized as either interval or ratio variables. Interval variables have numerical value, while ratio variables indicates there is none of that variables. Okay, now we want to discuss about the variables and scale of measurement in UUM. Now we want to discuss about transportation services among undergraduate students in University Utara Malaysia. There are 10 variables and 10 scale of measurement. The first variables is gender, which is categorized as nominal variables. Age is categorized as ratio variables. Races is categorized as nominal. Current semester is categorized as ordinal. Inasis is categorized as nominal. Satisfaction level is categorized as interval variables. Peak period is categorized as interval variables. Class distance is categorized as ratio variables. Bus punctuality is categorized as nominal level. And lastly, own transport is categorized as nominal variables.
Next, move on to the last part, which is data collection. We have primary and secondary data. Primary data is information that gathered by researchers directly from sources such as interviews, surveys, and experiments. Primary data is typically collected from the source where the data originated and is regarded as the best type of data in research. Meanwhile, secondary data is information that has already been gathered from primary sources and made readily available for use by researchers in their own research. It is type of data that has previously been collected also. Our group has chosen primary data. This is due to non-existing file about bus as transportation of UUM students, so we will do observations through online surveys, also through face-to-face interviews, so that the information we could get more easily and accurately. Next is for survey, observation, face-to-face interviews, and online interview. Our group will choose to conduct an online questionnaire survey. It is because online surveys are easier to distribute and the fastest way for our group to collect the data that we need. Next, we proceed to pros and cons of the method that our group has chosen. So what is the pros of this method is primary data is tailored to the researcher needs at the time of data collection. The researchers, which is us, has control over the type of data that is collected. Also, when compared to the secondary data, it is more accurate because data is not influenced by personal bias and veracity can be trusted. Also, the researcher claims that ownership of the data gathered during primary research, so he or she may decide to make it public, patent it, or even sell it. So primary data is usually up to date because it is collected in real time and not from old resources. The researcher has complete control over the data gathered during primary research. He has the authority to select the design, method, and data analysis techniques to be used. Now move on to cons of our group method, which is primary data, is that it's much more expensive than a secondary data, and as a result, gathering primary data may be difficult. Also, it is time consuming, and due to the complexity and time commitment required, collecting primary data may not be feasible in some cases.